Let's fucking go! That's my guy!
I think he gets one. I think he gets his first Ferrari. Like I said, Ferrari just looks good. And I think this is his year. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Around the Circuit, Apollo Media's Formula One podcast. As always, I am your host, Junior, joined by my boys, Mark and Ivan. We are
Back.
10 days
So back.
out from the season start. I think if my calculations are correct, we are 10 days out from the season start. It is almost race week. We just got to get through the rest of this week.
So close.
Sunday will be here. It'll be race week. We'll be counting down the days till we are in Melbourne, watching these guys ready to go. We watched all the preseason testing already.
Yep.
We talked about the shakedown in our last episode. Preseason testing 1 and 2 is done in Bahrain. We've seen what these cars can do, sort of. We've seen what they can't do.
Definitely.
We have somewhat of an idea of what we're going to be seeing this year on the track. We still probably have so many questions that are going to go unanswered until we actually get in Melbourne and watch this season kick off. Before we get started, though, I want to say don't forget to click that subscribe button. We are on our new YouTube channel. We are still Apollo Media. We are still part of the team, part of the family, but we are on our own separate channel now. So please make sure you follow us there, subscribe, follow us on all our socials, because we are growing as our own podcast powered by Apollo. Boys, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling good. Like I said, I can't wait for the season to start.
Amazing.
I'm ready for the season to start.
Yeah.
Bahrain testing was exciting at sometimes, honestly. Seeing the cars on track, seeing different things happen on track, seeing Aston Martin being Aston Martin, I guess, because I don't even know what they are. Honda has some explaining to doing, honestly, at this point. But yeah, I'm just excited for the season to start.
It's always fun for a new season. Everything's always glowing until the first tire hits the track and then everybody starts complaining again.
Yeah.
So it feels like we never left.
Yeah, I think it felt like a short off season.
Yeah, it felt like a short off season, and then the first day of testing was here, and now we're hot and running. Everybody's got their opinions on what everything's going to look like, what everybody's going to be positioned at. We've got 3 or 4 meetings that the FAA has planned with the teams, because we got some stuff that some teams want fixed and some teams don't want fixed.
Yeah.
So,
well, right off the bat, we know there was the compression ratio trick that Mercedes had figured out for their engines. Obviously, it trickles down to their customers, which is McLaren, Williams, and Alpine. It looks like there is going to be something done about it, but it's not going to be done until after the summer break. So
August is when they're looking at now.
August, I think they said August 1st is officially, or sometime in August, that first week of August, is when they're going to be looking to make those changes. At least what they're going to be doing is changing the way they test for the compression ratio. How much that changes things, who knows? How much of a head start that gives Mercedes and its customers, who knows? But that is coming. I guess the second biggest thing that kind of came out of preseason testing was Max and, well, not even just Max. We'll say the big 3.
Yeah. Max,
Lewis, and Alonso, with whispers of a few other drivers, kind of Max more than others kind of slammed these new regulations.
Yeah.
You know, after 6 days of testing, it's not, here, let's put it this way. Not that anything didn't go good, but it doesn't feel good, at least to the drivers.
Well, for Fernando, it's more.
Well, yeah, I guess Fernando has his complaints as a pure racing driver. His car, on the other hand, is a whole other story. He has to deal with his team and their engine manufacturer on that one. But also coming from your 4-time world champion, Max Verstappen, and your 7-time world champion, Lewis Hamilton, when they talk bad about these new regulations before the season even starts, it's definitely eye-opening.
Yeah.
I don't know. As a Max fan, I laugh because it's like, of course, he says some things. He's always blunt in the media. People always take it one way or the other. But to see other drivers, especially people like Lewis, saying pretty much the same thing, it's interesting. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, it was very interesting, especially it being Max and him being like one of the first ones to open to being basically saying we're racing Formula E. This might as well be
Yeah,
Formula
when you
E.
say Formula E on steroids.
So when he says that, like it's like, oh shit, like that's not good.
Yeah.
And then you have like Checo backing him up, some other drivers here and there, but then you have Lewis. It's definitely not a good thing, especially for the sport when you have that guy. And Max, I mean, he's already said he's going to finish out his contract with Red Bull.
Yeah. I mean, he's here at least through 2028.
Yeah.
At this rate, does he stay longer? Who knows?
So, yeah, it depends on when we get on track day and how it feels for him. Because, obviously, I think his opinion could and probably will change. Probably. Like I said, it depends. But, yeah, that's very, like, if you're F1 and you're looking at that, you're like, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing to see. And, I mean, yeah, like – we don't know what it's going to look like, especially for the drivers. So I'm hoping it's good. I really am hoping it's good.
Yeah. I will say that some of the things we seemed to worry about the first couple of days and even at the shakedown, some things that didn't look great, like the starts, the practice starts they ran. The last couple of days of practice, they did look better. I still think they are going the starts are going to be very chaotic. Yes. There's going to be a lot of issues. There's going to be a lot of position changes.
Yes.
I don't think qualifying is going to play as much. I mean, it's hard to say, right?
Still going to play a part. But
it's going to play a part, but it could not be as important as last season. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say.
I mean, so I'll start with the Max stuff. So Max and all the other drivers, first off, we talked about it last time on the show. Formula E's been catching some strays. Like, I'm just keeping it a buck, like, Formula One's probably the sport where it's the sport where motorsport where most fans don't watch other motorsports. So for Formula E to be catching so much strays is funny to me because I'm like, I know half of the Formula One fans don't watch Formula E because I like motorsports and I don't watch Formula E that much.
Yeah, I think we talked like the season, that was like the second race of the season, we were all kind of watching on our own.
Yeah.
I don't think he really meant it as a shot at the drivers.
Yeah.
I think it's, when you look at what F1 used to be, with like the V10s and how to what it is now, I mean, they're driving hybrid cars essentially, you know?
Yeah.
So I understand what he's coming from, and I don't think he meant it so much as a shot at them as a shot at his own sport and that leadership.
Yeah. And I think, so I had to go back and do one of the few things that I feel like a couple people have done this, but not too many. I went back and watched a little bit of testing from 2014 when like the hybrids were introduced.
Yeah.
Oh, it was worse then, dude. It was 10 times worse than like when the hybrids first got introduced. You had cars 5/10 behind, like split between each other. I know every time there's a regulation change, all the drivers always have opinions. Yeah. I think it's just something where if they can figure out the starts within less than a week's time, it's just going to take some working things out. I do wonder how some of the younger drivers feel because they've been kind of quiet, which I don't know if that's by choice or if they just kind of like, well, we don't really have a voice like the leaders do. Yeah. Let's let them speak for us because the younger drivers really haven't been talking up that much. And then for me, the main thing about these regulations is I am going to give them a chance. I know everybody's going to give them a chance.
Yeah.
But also I do find it funny that the ground effect era was pretty good to two drivers specifically. And then we switched to these new regulations and everything's changed on the car. Everything's brand new. You're not going to have anything feel like the same. The biggest complaint I have is the one part that Max comment was saying was, he said, I want to go flat out. I want to be able to drive flat out like Formula One is. And like you said, like it used to be. We weren't even doing that in the ground effect era. Like you couldn't pass in the ground effect era. You could be behind a car and be flat out and you'd get pushed back like 3 or 5 tenths just because you could not follow in that sequence. Also, these tires from Pirelli were not good in the ground effect era until like the last year. So I don't know where he's talking about I just want to drive ground like pedal to the metal. I think he's using more of its like Nordschleifer, like kind of like stuff he's been doing lately with that because that is something you do drive flat out in.
And if you've been a fan of the sport for a while or even for at least 2 or 3 years, you kind of know the character that Max has. You kind of know that he don't give a shit about the media or anything else. All this guy cares about is racing, whether it's sim racing, whether it's F1, whether it's GT3, whether it's karting. The dude just loves to race. And so I think you kind of take what he says with a grain of salt too, because even as a Max fan, like you have to look at it as a sport as a whole. Shit changes. There's nothing we can do about it. And yes, it might not feel as good to him because that's all he wants to do is be just a pure let's go fast versus we see where the sport's kind of headed right now. Things obviously will change over the next 2 or 3 years while we're in these regulations. But as a sport of a whole, you got to kind of look at it as, what was I going to, like, I'm trying to, like, think of the right word. It's like he wants to do this, but as a whole, like, the sport is evolving. And he just kind of take it with a grain of salt and be like, okay, cool. Like, this is what he wants, but this is where the sport's at. And we know he's going to adapt to it. We know he's the driver that he can be. Yeah. So, you know, like,
yeah, I get the gist of what you're saying.
Yeah. It's hard for me to put it like into a specific word where like this is what he wants, but unfortunately you can't always get what you want. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and like you said, I mean, when they changed in 2022 to the ground effect era, everybody complained about it then too. So
I mean, we had drivers almost breaking their backs in the ground effect era a couple testing days. At least we haven't had something like that happening. That's been my biggest thing that I've been surprised about is the ride of the cars isn't the problem. It's how you power these cars, which is something that, I mean, you can tinker with it and it may take a couple weeks, but you can fix that. Mm-hmm. The porpoising stuff that we had in like the start of the ground effect era, that was like life-threatening, career-threatening, like this may take you out for the whole season if you have a wrong bump kind of incident. So I'm glad we're not seeing those. I mean, I appreciate the drivers for giving feedback just because you don't know what's going on till they start speaking up because they're the ones in the car, not anybody else.
On the point you said where like a lot of the younger drivers seem like they've been kind of quiet and they haven't been as vocal as some of the more veteran drivers. I did see that there was something that came out. It was on, I think, like the official F1 podcast. They said that there was a driver that kind of anonymously said like, hey, the stuff Max is saying, he's speaking for a lot of us. Yeah. We can't say the things he says because we're not at his level when it comes to like being a veteran or being somebody that the sport, the president, the FIA are actually going to listen to. They're like, we can't be as vocal as he can, but he's not speaking just for himself. He's speaking for a few of us here. And you kind of got to respect that. Like, we talked about it a lot last year. Max and Lewis are those guys that are like leaders on the paddock now. They're going to do that stuff for the other drivers if they have to. So,
especially how many younger drivers came in this last year, and then we have Arvid coming in this year, and all those guys immediately go to Lewis and Max. Yeah, they're kind of like the dads of the grid right now.
Essentially, is what it is. I mean, you look at it. We had 6 rookies last year, another one this year. Yeah, almost half the 22 drivers out there are all 3 years or less experience. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, or 2 years or less. So it's interesting to see. I do think as many as a lot of Max haters I saw online were trying to just dog on him for saying what he said. A week later, the president of F1 is saying, hey, I had a meeting with Max. It was very constructive. We talked about some of his concerns. We talked about where we're going in the direction with the sport. There are some things we'll look at changing because we do want this, like you said, we do want this driver feedback. So like it or not, he is a voice of the sport. Yeah. I'm not here to dog on anyone, but there is a certain driver that is the president of the Drivers Association who's been very quiet. But at least we have drivers that will speak up, like Lewis and Max and Alonso and Checo. The old guys of the paddock, I guess we'll say.
It's, that I don't even know what to say.
I mean, these regulations are just, like we said, until we hit the track in Melbourne, it's going to be hard to... You take everything everyone has said with a grain of salt. You kind of see what we saw over 6 days of practice scene. And hey, when lights go out, we know it's, and we've seen how much over the regulations the cars can evolve. So we have 3 years of this regulation set. It's going to change. By the time we hit 2028, we're going to be looking at who knows what. I mean, it's not even week 1 and we already got Ferrari with inverted freaking rear wings that are greenlit by the sport, which is, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think it's fucking awesome.
It's amazing.
But like, this is where we're at now. You know what I mean? Like, we can only imagine what's going to come in these next, not even this season. And I have that note, like, development is going to be fun to watch, I think.
And that's what I was just going to say. That's one of the main things that you love to see when the new set of regulations is how some teams can get innovative and see what they could do. Like I said, with Ferrari, the inverted wing, that was so weird to see.
Even looking at like what's happening now with Mercedes, the compression trick, compression ratio trick, this is just a start.
Yes.
By the end of this season alone, there's going to be God knows what, much less 2 or 3 years down the road.
We don't know which one of these tricks or inventions could maybe put them in the front and like dominate. Yeah. So it could go back and forth through the entire season, man. It's exciting to see. So yeah, even though we have all these drivers, especially Max coming out is saying it's gonna evolve. You know, we do have a couple of drivers who are happy, not like happy, but they're like, oh, we don't care. Like maybe this guy should go retire. Not gonna say who that is, but you know, I think we all know.
I think so. This is the last part I'll say about the Max comments. I wanted to tell everybody online because as a person that's not even the Verstappen fan club, this comment kept making me mad. So I know Junior saw it and it made him mad too. Every driver wants the fastest car, guys. I hope you know that. Like I saw a bunch of comments saying, well, he's not in the fastest car. Possibly now he's starting to complain. Nah, dude, every driver wants the fastest car. Like Lewis has threatened to retire a couple times after not having the fastest car after a while too.
How many times did we sit here during the last season and wonder, what the fuck is going on with Lewis? This is not him. This doesn't sound like him. He's like, is he washed? Is he getting ready to retire? Is he just tired?
Honestly, throughout his entire career, I don't think he's had that bad of an experience.
Yeah. And it was bad. But and then you see the statements that came out these last 2 days. He's like, hey, I'm back. I'm locked the fuck in. We're ready to go.
Yeah.
From going to McLaren and then taking the risk on Mercedes and then throughout that in his entire career, like those teams have been incredible, especially with him behind the wheel and giving them that purpose. So yeah, after
up until
this
his last couple of years at Mercedes, which kind of pushed him obviously not only for the legacy of driving in red, but like kind of pushed him towards Ferrari. And then you look at what happened last year, and you're like, did he make like that was the big question for surrounded Lewis? Did he make a mistake?
Yeah, and I get the optics too of. It's like damn if you do, damn if you don't. I do get the optics of the person who won the most in the past regulations saying something, but that's the only way you're going to find out. Somebody's always going to be the best of every regulation stint. I mean, it's copium, but I mean, like Pierre Gasly or Carlos Sainz could be the best in this situation with these setups that we have right now, and we just don't know. That's the great thing about switching regulations is that the unknown is the best part, and then with the upgrades. I think they're going to be even stupider than what the last upgrades where we had in the last set of regulations were, just because we're already seeing stuff in testing that we never saw anything like that in the ground effect. Now it could be ground effect, everything went underneath the car. So Lord knows what the bottom of that Red Bull in 2023 looked like.
Yeah. I mean, I think you look at it and you say, we're here. It's new. Shit is going to change. And even after 6 days of 2 weeks practically of testing, if you include the shakedown, almost 3 weeks of testing, we still don't know who's on top.
Yeah.
I think we might be able to say who's at the very bottom, but we still don't know who's at top. We don't know what's going to happen over the season. And we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we just don't know where anybody's going to be. That's the fun part. Everybody's starting a speculation. I just think, like you said, you have to take everything these drivers say at this point right now with a grain of salt. Not just because it's Max or because it's Lewis, but because they're all lying in some way, guys.
Yeah, too.
Like they're all lying.
Sandbagging. They're all pointing the finger, and that kind of like leads us to my next point. After this practicing, I think it's safe to say we know who the top four are going to be. It's going to be the same top four.
Yeah,
I think Mercedes and Ferrari are probably going to be looking at your top two with McLaren and Red Bull very close behind.
Yeah.
But we don't know. I mean, there was already all the reports of, pretty much every team was running with their engines turned down. We don't know what the full power is. We don't know how fast they are actually going to be able to go.
It's a bunch of high school gossip while he had the drivers going around saying,
it's the finger point. Yeah, this guy's faster. No, he's faster. No, we're fourth fastest.
Yeah, Charles, I don't believe a word he says. He is not faster.
I think the funniest thing that came out of it was Lando saying what he did to disagree with Max. Yeah. And then coming back and be like, oh, well, I just wanted to see what everybody said. I agree with them. McLaren's PR team needs to step that up a little bit. But besides that, I think it's safe to say the top four teams are going to be the top four teams that we saw last year. and they're probably going to be clear by a good margin from the rest of the pack.
Most likely, unless, and that's another thing with like Audi and the Cadillac, we have literally no idea what they could look like in the midfield. I saw people complaining like, "Oh, Audi's just a recolored kicks up." They're not. Audi is in here, man. Like Audi is a completely new team, so them and Cadillac, we have no idea what we can expect. We don't know if they've been sandbagging. They're true, like right in the middle, in the midfield, like they're expected to be. But these guys could make a run to be one of the top midfield teams.
You don't know where anybody's going to be except for one team, like we keep talking about. We're going to get to them, trust us. But man, these regulations, the thing that's got me excited about them is it kind of seems like you're going to go back to the ways where it's like, oh, this team is better at this track. This team is going to be better at that track. Mm-hmm. Whereas the past couple years, it's like, well, this team will be good at most tracks unless it's this certain corner in China or this certain corner in the Hungarian Grand Prix. You're getting back to like teams having like favorites at certain tracks, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
And I don't believe a word any of these rumors with like the engines, just because, man, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Never in history has a team building their engine for the first time been like, oh, I'm good. We got this out the gates.
Yeah.
And something's confusing to me about the Honda situation. I know Honda, a lot of their people stayed behind at Red Bull because Red Bull was just like, keep you here. You already been around us for all these years. So Honda had to pretty much start from scratch. It's the same Honda that messed up with McLaren though in 2014 though still too. So it's like you still got a lot of those same employees back at Red Bull.
Or Fernando, man.
Fernando is just
Jesus,
cursed by
man.
Honda. Man, it's hard to say because I will say when you look at it on a reliability standpoint, it's impressive what Ford has done with Red Bull.
Yeah.
It's impressive what Ferrari has done because not only are their engines looking strong, Haas looks strong, Cadillac looks strong. Those are Ferrari customers.
Yeah.
And they didn't have very many reliability issues through all the testing. I think I saw something that between both V-Carb and Red Bull, the Red Bull Ford powertrain, they ran over like 2,000, 2,200 laps. Yeah. Something crazy over like the shakedown and all 6 days of preseason testing. They didn't have one reliability issue. Now, knock on wood, that continues throughout the season, because if there's anything, I don't care who it is, if there's anything I hate more watching a race, it's an engine blowout and causing somebody to lose.
Unless it's like
but it is part of the race, right? It is part of the race. It's part of the sport. But to see that, I will say the only teams that seem to have the only engines other than Honda, Mercedes look strong and they look fast.
Yeah.
But there were a couple hiccups here and there, that could that be something during the season? You know what I mean? We're here and we're talking about this as if like we know what's going to happen and it's all smoke and mirrors. We're all just guessing at this point until we hit the track in Melbourne.
I mean, didn't some of the cars run like 700, 800 laps straight with the same power unit?
Yeah.
No issues on these power units? I did
see that Mercedes they were running old power units. They weren't even running new power units. So,
which that was confusing to me too.
And how true is that? Obviously, like you said, everything that comes out of these teams is just.
If it's a brand new power unit, how is it an old unit? That was the part I kept getting confused about. It was like a riddle for me.
Yeah,
I'm like, we've never used these. These MGQKs are gone from the old one, but they're older power units. And I'm like, so where were you using them at?
I mean, you look at, because this is where the fastest times come out of. You look at some of the fastest times on the last 3 days of testing. Charles topped it. Charles, like I said, we talked about it. Ferrari looks good. Charles looks good. You have Kimi Antonelli with the second fastest time on day 2 overall. And then it's the McLaren boys, Oscar and Lando, and then Max at 5 with George right behind him at 6, Lewis at 7. That's you know what I mean? That's your top 4 teams right there. The only one who's not there is Hadjar. It's his first year in Red Bull. It's going to take him some time to get used to it. And his teammate is Max. We know how that second seat goes. So even if they are sandbagging, it's safe to say that those top 4 teams, it's going to be those drivers.
And even then, look at the midfield.
We got Alpine, look at the midfield
right behind Lewis.
Alpine, Haas, Behrman. Audi, Williams is towards the bottom and Cadillac's towards the bottom, but also who knows? You know what I mean? Yeah. I think if anything, you take Cadillac as more of a success is if they can get through the races and maybe fight for points.
Yeah.
Because they're a brand new team. They're starting from scratch.
Yes.
They don't. I was something that I think it was Crofty or Brunda was saying during one of the preseason testing days is you look at what they're doing and it's still impressive on the standpoint that they don't have years of data to look back on. They are starting straight from scratch.
Yes.
They have the experience of the people leading that team, and that's it.
Which is why they chose the guys
the Ferrari
that they did.
and the Ferrari engine. But how much, you know what I mean? Like you get what you get from Ferrari, and then you go, and then the rest is all you.
Yeah, which is why they chose the guys that they did in Sergio and Valtteri.
Exactly.
You look at those guys. Look at what teams they were on before this. Those are the perfect candidates for a brand new team starting from scratch.
Yeah. And when we were looking at who could the drivers be all the way back to last season, we said it a few times. Why not go with the veterans who are going to give you the experience you need as a new team? And like you said, it's got to be the perfect lineup for them. Consider now that we've seen some kind of action on the track.
Yeah, Cadillac's going to be a team where I don't think they'll go pointless, but they're going to be one of those teams that's going to be like 10 to 15 points in a year.
Yeah.
Like they're going to get a couple points. I don't think there's – you know what I'm just going to say? I don't think there's going to be a team that will go pointless, including the team in last place that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's going to be a team that'll go point. Yeah, we could talk about them here in a sec. It's just I think I want to give them kudos because – you know, as much as we've been talking about the regulations, to start a team from scratch and to not be dead last, no, they had some help, but still, not to be dead last and also not to have as many hiccups as some of the other teams have had.
Yeah.
And I mean, another team that I wanted to shout out before we move on to Aston is the midfield teams. Alpine, obviously biased, but Haas has been really, really good this testing too.
Looked really good, and I kind of have it as a note, and I might be slightly biased in saying that I think it's going to be between Haas and Williams. I say that because it's Ferrari and Mercedes customers, but Alpine could surprise us. We don't know what we're going to get at Alpine with a new engine provider. You know what I mean? A new engine manufacturer, I guess is the right word to say, but we don't know. Like I said, other than the fact that we know they're going to be in the midfield more than likely, it could be any of those three teams. I think Haas is a favorite for me at the top of it, as much as I still want Williams to be back and fight for wins. I think because we're moving into new regulations, it's going to kind of keep them kind of where they were, which was 5th last year. As long as they stay in 5th, they're happy, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Haas is going to make a big step up. It's just Haas has a tendency to start the years good, but they don't develop as much as the other teams because of the size of the
also,
team.
You look at that was the old Gunther led team, whereas now they're led by Io, and we saw what they did last year. I mean, they didn't look bad.
Yeah. And I think Alpine's going to have the Red Bull problem this year, even if they are good. I still think until he shows me something, I still think they're a one-man team. It's just going to be Pierre Gasly trying to get the Alpine in the top 7 until I can see Colapinto show me some signs he can get a point in Formula One. So I think they're not going to be able to keep up unless they do some major upgrade mid-season or later on in the year too. So I do think
I'm pulling for Franco because why not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing he can hold against him. It's just he at this point, this is year 3, buddy. Like, it's put up or shut up time now, dude.
No, I mean, this is it. I think if he doesn't do well this season, he's probably out of the sport. If not, he's a reserve driver.
He'll do the Jack doing route if he gets out.
Quick shout out to Yuki catching a Red Bull on fire out in San Francisco during the show run. I just had to throw that out there.
I don't think that was an accident.
Hey, bro was aura farming. Did y'all see those snaps that came out of that event? It was insane.
I think he just lived out a dream from last season. I'm just gonna set this thing on fire for what they did to me.
Hey man, look, I respect it. He was driving the hell out of that car, and then next thing you know, it's on fire, and he hops out like, "Hey, whoops." But we mentioned it a few times. We said we were gonna get to it. We gotta ask the question: is Aston Martin the new Alpine this year?
That's tough. If you told us last year if we were gonna have this talk about Aston Martin,
I mean, how many times did we sit here and say, Charles, maybe you should look at leaving and going to Aston Martin? Max, maybe you should go to Aston Martin.
Was the destination when you had
Newey.
Guys like Yuki, Max, and Charles. When those guys were like, oh, where could they go next year? Like Aston Martin with Adrian Newey, Honda, Lance Stroll, Fernando Alonso.
Lawrence Stroll being the team owner. Yes. I mean, he's got money for days.
it started off with the presentation. That presentation was
I said it in our first episode. They looked worried. They sounded worried when they were presenting that engine.
That's
never wrong, just late.
Never
just
wrong,
early.
just late. Honestly, this might be a good thing for Lance Stroll because, man, in 2023, when Fernando was popping off, it really showed how bad Lance was. So maybe he can have an excuse of why he's so bad now. I kid. Anyways, yeah, no, they looked very, very bad. It wasn't good. You saw those videos of Adrian Newey sitting there just like,
yeah, I mean, because I've seen did Adrian Newey get too aggressive with the design?
Yeah.
But then you look at all the issues and it's not even they haven't even been able to, at least from what I saw over the 6 days, they weren't even able to really put in enough time on track without reliability issues from the engine or transmission to even get I mean, I'm sure they got plenty of data on the aerodynamics, but every issue we saw came from within.
Yeah, I mean, look at Fernando's time of 136.5.
The scary
and Lance Stroll, they're both the bottom two.
And Lance is a 135.9.
It's not good.
I was listening to some stuff on the way into the studio, and I didn't realize this watching through Aston stuff. They didn't even get to practice the start sequence.
No.
God bless whoever. I hope you're not behind him because you've done really bad then. But if you're somehow behind Lance Stroll in Australia and that team has not practice starts at all in a race situation, that's some scary stuff.
Look at what happened to Franco when he was trying to go up for the start, man.
Oh, yeah, he put it in the wall.
It was put in the wall.
Yeah, like they haven't even.
I think it was Lance Stroll that said, Lance Stroll, he said the best thing about our car is delivery.
Aston Martin only did 128 laps. The next most was 266
by Cadillac.
That's
double.
Bad.
That's over
That's
double.
Very bad.
Yeah,
your Mercedes and Racing Bulls put in the most total, where Mercedes was 432 to only put in 128.
Hey. I would have paid a ridiculous amount of money if Max somehow decided to go to Aston this year, and they're having the issues now with Max and Fernando in that room together. Oh, dude, I would have paid
on the wall.
I would have paid good money to see that mess, dude. I'm happy he stayed at Red Bull just because it like you want those drivers to stay at teams they've been with for the long time to build that identity. But man, if Max was over there at Aston, like what some of the rumors were saying.
As much as I threw around the idea of maybe Max would look good in green, I am glad he stayed where he's at. Yes, the only other place I would have been is if he would have taken George's seat at Mercedes because Mercedes does look strong.
I mean, it's just so bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's
not good.
With the hope that those Aston Martin fans had with Newey, Honda, people were saying, "Oh, Fernando's getting his third." It's such a disappointment.
Yeah,
you can
hope just for the sake of the sport and like the competition that they can figure it out. But
like I said, I don't think there will be a single team to not score a point.
But if there is
one,
I think we know who it's gonna be.
We know who it's gonna be.
Yeah, I think Aston has just. They're literally following to a T the old McLaren stuff. Like McLaren back in the day.
Who knows? Maybe this means that in a couple of years they'll be dominating. But
well, see, here's the scary part. It took McLaren going through all that. They had to kick out Ross Brawn, and then they brought in Zach Brown, and somehow, some way, that was the man that saved the team.
Yeah.
So they're gonna need to bring in somebody over there at Aston that can help rescue the team, which. A figure kind of like Zach Brown terrifies the heck out of me. So they got to figure out what's going on over there because
Christian Horner, do we have an opportunity for you?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that kind of too.
Hey, man.
And also, I do not want him on my team, so you can have fun at Aston.
I was going to say, I heard that blue and pink team was looking real hard at.
You can have fun over there with Adrian. You can have fun over there with Adrian, man. That team, the amount of money they put in to this to be this bad. They're going to have to, if the engine problems don't get figured out by the end of this year, you got to start maybe thinking like what Red Bull did a couple years ago with the whole Carlos Sainz going to Renault and then them agreeing to use their engine so they could get Carlos Sainz stuff. You may have to do something like that. Like now, you don't loan out a driver, but you may have to switch out some type of engine provider if it gets that bad. And I feel terrible for the Honda people just because, man, after rebuilding their reputation with Red Bull, after what happened with the McLaren situation, just to have it go right back down to where it was with the McLaren situation all over again. It's just, I feel bad for them. And Toyota now with Haas is like probably laughing and pointing their finger at them like, hey, man, that's why we signed up as livery guys. We're not the engine guys yet. Yet. We're going to do that. We're going to see how y'all mess up, and then we're going to do our engine stuff.
I think we are only a few short years away from TGR being a full-blown contributor to this sport.
Very interesting.
I mean, Haas already narrowed down their driving. They only have one car in NASCAR now. They sold off some of the other charters. So, I mean, that could be them getting ready. And
TGR takes over Haas. We know Cadillac is using Ferrari for now, but eventually they're going to move to GM.
Yep.
Fully. Hey, man, this sport is going to get interesting over these regulations.
And I think that's the big thing kind of to bring
if we even get a 12 team, you know?
That's the thing to bring it full circle, because I've also heard a lot of people complaining about, man, we messed up Formula One just so we could bring in Audi. And I'm like, you got to think about this long game. There's a reason Toyota is starting to stumble back into the room. There's a reason Audi came into the picture. There's a reason Ford, GM, all those came into the picture because they wanted this to happen. So you kind of got to take the good with the bad. If the only way to get more teams out there with actual manufacturer names was to do this, I'm willing to walk down this road as long as I don't run into a wall. You know what I mean?
I feel you. All right, boys. We've said our pieces. We've kind of given our opinions on where we think teams are sandbagging, who looks the top. It's time. Before we get into our championship predictions, because we have to give our championship predictions.
Yes.
Start the season. Before we get into that, though, what is y'all's hot take of the season?
We're starting out with the hot take.
Hot take of the season. Either one of y'all can start it off.
I really want to start.
I'll let Junior go first on this one, because I got to think about mine for a hot minute. Because I got two in my head. I didn't even narrow down one.
My hot take is with Mercedes, and because I fully believe they are still going to be one of, if not the favorite. I think I
know where you're going with this.
I think Kimi Antonelli fights for the championship.
I knew it.
For a good chunk of the season. If he fights for it for the whole season, hey, why not?
Yeah.
But I think Kimi Antonelli gets multiple wins, and his name is up there at least for a portion of the season.
I hope he is, because I've seen more video of Kimi with the dang water gun than I have him on track. Like, that's how I kind of
celebrating Bono's birthday, man.
Bro, he's been
Lewis made an appearance too.
Bro, every time
hanging out in the Mercedes garage.
So good.
That video of Bono at the Mercedes team house, and then Kimi just walking up with the biggest water gun I've seen in the paddock, and it's just like, this team is too chill right now for them not to be.
I'll give them that. They are very relaxed, and that's kind of where I go with that hot take. Could be wrong, but I think it's safe to say, if Mercedes is as strong as they look, Kimi is going to be in the championship talks for a good portion of the season.
Last year, him and Isaac, at some points, they didn't look like rookies.
Yeah.
So especially for him and being in this car that could be the top car, I can see it. Do I want to go?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Your hot take, Mark.
We touched on it earlier, kind of similar, but I think this year Haas takes multiple podiums.
Multiple podiums.
Last year in Mexico, Ollie Behrman was one place away from getting that podium. He got fourth. And man, if this Ferrari engine is as good as we maybe saw in these last couple of days of racing, man, we saw that practice start of Lewis,
dude,
and he flew.
I mean, even that same practice start.
Yes,
Ocon was passing up Max and a couple others.
If we don't even need to qualify great, and we can make up multiple places at the start,
hey,
give me an Ollie Behrman podium multiple times, because Ocon, love you, bro, but I don't know if you got that in you anymore.
I love it. I actually really like that take. Ivan, you're up.
All right. So it's kind of like a remix of a little bit of both of y'all's, but I'll say we'll get at least 2 first-time podium or first-time winners this year.
Okay.
I think we're going to get more than one.
Who do you think gets that podium or win?
The first-time podium, to be honest, there's 2 drivers, Behrman and Bortoleto.
Okay.
Behrman and Bortoleto, it's kind of hard to say just because Audi's engine is such a mystery like everybody else's.
Yeah.
Behrman with Haas, the way they're looking like, I feel like that eventually he's going to get it because he got a 4th last year. He can do better in a better car. For the win, I just think one of those midfield teams you're gonna have at least one midfield team win a race that's kind of like shocking because we didn't really have that.
I was just about to say it. I was just about to say it.
Yeah, you'll have a midfield team because it's gonna be Carlos, Alex, one of those drivers. Pierre, I'm praying for you. I hope you can do it too. But one of those drivers that has a lot of talent and their engines now, because that's the thing about all those teams, they're customers. All those teams in the midfield are customer teams. So all they've got to worry about is, can we upgrade the car enough to get us near the podium places, which I think they can. And that's the thing with Aston dropping down. I mean, there was never a big five, and I don't care. That was Aston trying to make it a big five, and it was only a big four.
Yeah.
But with now, like Aston kind of pretty much out of the picture, and everybody has to move up now. So I just think that you're going to see at least 2 first-time podium or winners. I think it could be a lot more than that. It's just I've seen some crazy predictions. Like I saw Tommy from Matt and Tommy. He was like, Max is not going to win a race this year. And I'm like, no, there's no way. That man finds a way to win races when he has less than one, like when he has 3 tires on the car almost.
That is a lava boiling hot take.
Yeah, that was the lava boiling take.
We're looking for hot take. That's something. So.
I will say, this is my other one I had in my back pocket that I couldn't decide upon. I will say, I think Hadjar finishes within 50 points of Max. Which I think is the crazy one. I would not be mad
at it because I was the biggest Hadjar fan probably at this table last year.
Yeah.
And I really think he's going to do good and he's going to push Max. Max is in his prime, dude. Like I don't know if y'all saw that clip where Crofty was kind of going on about how good Max is and how he's one of the greatest of all times right now. He's in his prime. So it is kind of unfair. You're always compared to your teammate.
Yeah.
Hadjar's first year in Red Bull, he's going to be compared to the best driver on the track right now, more than likely. So he is, in a sense, in a handicap, but I think he is going to do really good. As long as that engine stays reliable and they can make the upgrades they need to be competitive, we know Max is going to get wins, and I think Hadjar is fighting for podiums, possibly. Mm-hmm. Not to get away from my original hot take, but I think that's safe to say is that Hadjar is going to be up there.
Yeah, I just think the second seat curse is going to bite him at the beginning of the year. But
then up to adjustment.
Yeah, and then I think by the middle of the year, he's going to get on a little run and start getting consistency down that he needs. Yeah. And I don't think this Red Bull is going to be the front of the pack like it was last regulation. So he won't have as much ground to make up against Max because he won't be winning every race like it was in 23. That was Checo's problem when he unfortunately lost his seat. Was it's kind of hard to catch up to a guy when he's winning 9 races in a row.
Yeah.
And they don't give you more points than what you get at second or third. So. Yeah, that's
what happens when you're up against, we saw it when Lewis was dominating, and we're seeing it with Max now. When you're their teammate, unfortunately, that's who you're compared to.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you're up against this generational talent. So we got our hot takes out of the way. We'll start with the Constructors Championship. We're going to give our predictions for the Constructors Championship, and that should kind of segue us into our drivers' predictions. But right now, I want y'all to give me your World Constructors Championship predictions.
I put mine in top 3, so I don't know if y'all did that too, but I put mine in top 3.
I can do a top 3.
I'll go first.
I want you to give your top 3, but I want a winner. Like I want who you think is going to be.
Who's going to win? I know who's going to win. Okay. It's going to be Mercedes.
Okay.
I think, especially if Kimi takes that next step in the great car this year, I think most definitely George is going to be George. He's going to be there. I think he's going to be at the end of the day competing for the Drivers' Championship. But I think Mercedes is, like we said, if that engine is as good as we think it is, and they don't have like any problems on track, especially with the engine, I think they're the clear favorites and they will win. Second, where we always are, I'm going to go with Ferrari.
Okay.
Especially, like I said, man, they're giving me too much hope.
So who did you have at third then?
You're not going to like it.
I'm okay. I can take it.
It's McLaren.
Okay.
It's McLaren.
Hey, I'm not mad.
I'm
going into this regulation set considering they're a new engine manufacturer. I went into this season knowing, hey, we're probably not going to be at the top.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Yeah. The fact that we're still in top 4, possibly top 3, is impressive just at the beginning of the season. We'll see what happens.
I don't think they'll be as good as they were last year, of course, but I think they're still going to be up there. I think Oscar's going to do well. I think Lando's going to do well coming back to defend his championship. But, I think Mercedes is the clear-cut favorite.
Okay. Ivan, your Constructors Championship prediction.
Okay, I'll go just like Mark did here. I'll go from third to up to the first.
Okay.
So third, I got McLaren.
Okay.
Second, I got Mercedes. First, I have Ferrari. I have Ferrari in first because right now I feel like Ferrari's paying a tax because of their past sins. If Mercedes had the testing Ferrari had, we've been saying the sport is over and just give Mercedes the championship right now. But because it's Ferrari and what they've had happen the past couple years, like they're paying a fee for their past transgressions. They have 2 veteran drivers. I learned my lesson last year with Oscar. I can put all my eggs in one basket with a young driver that I feel like will do great. He's still going to have to go through growing pains. I feel like Kimi's now going to have to learn how to run up with the front now, with the front runners consistently, more like kind of like Oscar had to do last year where he just had to learn, okay, great, I passed up Lewis. Now I got to go past Charles. Then I got to go somehow get past Max. Like, it's a whole different story. And with Kimi's, I don't want to call him accident prone, but like his tendency to sometimes push it more than it needs to be pushed, I feel like that's going to push Mercedes a little bit more points behind the 2 veteran drivers. Because I feel like for Lewis, he's on a mission this year. Either I'm showing I'm still got it or I'm done. This might be it. So I feel like he's extra motivated. Charles hasn't had this opportunity since 2022. I feel like he's going to be motivated. Yeah, I know they had the chance to beat McLaren in the Constructors a couple years ago, but that's not what Charles is going after. No. So I think Ferrari is going to be the Constructors Champions just because they have the best lineup, and like we were talking about last year, they have the most consistent drivers if they can actually stay on track, those 2.
I don't even have to say anything then because you took the words right out of my mouth. I will keep mine short. Like you said, you have 2 veteran drivers, one who is arguably one of the top 3 drivers on the track right now in Charles Leclerc, and then you have a 7-time world champion and Lewis Hamilton, and they can sandbag all they fucking want. Ferrari looks good. They're showing early signs that with their fucking
guys are giving me too much hope.
Fucking rear wing, they look strong. I think Ferrari takes the World Constructors Championship this year. I think this is their year. I think when you, like you said, even though Mercedes is strong, Kimi is still in his second year. You still have growing pains. I think he's going to fight for wins, and I think he will be in the championship talks for a brief period of time. But I think right here, dead in the eyes, I think this is Ferrari's year to win the Constructors Championship.
God, I feel like I'm talking about the Cowboys sometimes when I talk about Ferrari.
Hey, man, they call if you compare an NFL team to Ferrari, it's going to be the Dallas Cowboys as a Dallas Cowboys fan. That's just kind of what it is.
I'm not going to lie.
Maybe we're back this year.
That's what I had thinking about with the testing.
They have paid their sins enough over the last 4 years.
Yes.
I want to see. I mean, I prefer obviously my favorite team to be up there.
Yeah.
But I have to choose another team. I want to see that it's the year of the horse.
Yep.
I mean, the signs are the writing is on the
Yep.
It's the year of the horse.
It's the year of the horse.
I think Ferrari takes the World Constructors Championship. On that note,
drivers,
I will lead straight into World Drivers Championship predictions. My prediction.
Are you gonna go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Just because I'm already on a roll.
Right. Go for it.
2026 is Charles Leclerc.
Let's fucking go! That's my guy!
I think he gets one. I think he gets his first. Ferrari, like I said, Ferrari just looks good. And I think this is his year. As much as we know Lewis is locked in from what the statements he's been saying, and he wants that 8th, I think Charles is just, you're giving him this hope, and they've paid their sins over the last few years. Like I said, I think this is the year he locks the fuck in and says, I want that championship. He deserves one. As much as I'm a Max fan and I would love to see number 5.
Yeah.
If I had to choose one other driver to win right now, it's Charles Leclerc to take his first championship.
Yeah, top 3, or is that it?
Top 3, I will say, because that's my guy, and you can never count him out. Yeah. Max is going to be right there behind him with...
Say it. I know you don't want to, but you got to say it.
George Russell.
Yep, there it is.
I think because he is Mr. Consistency, he is the guy that's always there to collect, and Mercedes is going to be strong. I think what's crazy is I don't think Red Bull is in the top 3 of the constructors, but I think Max is in the top 3 of the drivers because he's Max Verstappen, and they are going to make upgrades, and you can never count him out. We learned that last year. He's not going to be out of the fight, and if he is, then fucking strike me down because that car is really shit. You know what I mean? Like,
that's almost the same as mine. My driver's champion for 2026 is Charles Leclerc. It is the year of the horse. I'm gonna do it. I have to do it. It's my guy. I can never stop believing. I gotta cope. I have to. I'm not choosing anyone else. If I had to choose anybody else, it's Lewis. But I don't think Lewis is gonna do it, unfortunately. But I think he's gonna be up there. But this year, 2026, if it's not the year, then it's never gonna be. At least Charles in a Ferrari.
Yeah.
This year, it has to be it. Please, I'm begging you. For top 3, I said number 2. I think is going to be George Russell. So as I don't want to say it, it's going to be George Russell. Number 3, I don't know if this is like kind of like a hot take, but I'm going to go with Oscar Piastri.
Okay.
I think, like I said, like it was almost like the same with yours. I have Mercedes winning overall because I think if Kimi can get over the hump, and can get through, I think they'll get ahead. But I think Charles is going to be right there battling for the championship and win. And, I think that's my top 3. Obviously, the notable guys left out are Lando and Verstappen. But obviously, you explained your reasonings why.
Yeah. And I mean, and I could easily, as much as it hurts to say, I could easily move Max down to 3.
Yeah.
Only because I expect Mercedes to be strong.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of copium. I'm not going to lie. A little bit biased opinion that I put him at 2.
I mean, I have Charles winning the whole thing.
Because Lewis is going to be strong if Ferrari is up there and does what I say they're going to do. Something, and they're probably going to prove me wrong, but something tells me the McLaren boys just aren't going to be where we think they're going to be this year. And that's the only reason I left them out of my top 3. Like I said, I gave you my top 3. Max and George could probably swap if I really wanted to bite my tongue and do it.
Number 3 on my list, I was between Max, Oscar, and Lando. In the end, I came up with Oscar because I think after this last year, and if the McLaren is at least a bit of competitive, I think he'll be able to get a good run in here for this year at the championship, but obviously not be in the top 2.
Yeah.
All right. Similar to y'all.
Pure Gasly.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought about putting him on my top 5, but no. And I can't even have that much copium in my life, but I do have some on my list. 3rd for the Drivers' Championship, I have Charles Leclerc. Charles, I think, is going to finish 3rd. I think it's going to be a 3-way fight for the title this year.
Okay.
2nd, I have George Russell. Okay. George Russell, I think, is going to do good. And here comes the copium.
Oh, God.
1st, yep. I think Lewis can win his 8th only because of this and this reason only. Charles has never been in a fight for the constructors or drivers with a teammate of his own. And we've seen when Lewis needs to put the ugly mask on and be petty Lewis, there's a different type of Hamilton you see that comes out when he's fighting for championships that's been kind of dormant. And I'm going to be honest with you, George has never even seen that kind of Lewis. Yeah. Because they really weren't fighting for championships at that time.
I mean, he got a little bit of a sneak peek at the very end of his last race with Mercedes.
That Lewis who, like I said, you're going to see a different Lewis this year. That's the reason I think I just keep thinking back to 2022 when Charles was pushing the car so much and pushed it a little too much sometimes and got himself out of there with help from Ferrari, of course, too. But that's the reason why if Lewis can get an inkling that this car is constructors or drivers championship worthy, he'll flip that switch on and it'll be like Brittany's next to him again, like with Nico.
I'll be honest with you, it was hard for me to leave Lewis off of my top 10 because I do see Ferrari being so strong. It was hard for me to leave him out of my top 3. Top 10. Top 3 because I see Ferrari being so strong. I want to see I want to see what kind of Lewis we get this year. He does say he's back. I could say I'm back and try to go run a fucking marathon. And hey, those days are past me. You know what I mean?
Right, so
I want to see what kind of Lewis we get mentally and on the track. You know, both physically as far as racing and then mentally, because we did see some of those mental laps last year where he was questioning himself, and we've never really seen that out of Lewis. And he could say he's back, but until we see it actually happening, I mean, very well could be winning number 8 or being easily fighting for the championship against his own teammate.
And also goes back to 2 other things for Lewis that I was thinking about. So qualifying for Ferrari, it will matter, obviously, but not as much because of the advantage they have at their starts. And that's the biggest battle I have between the constructors and the drivers. I literally have it written down in my notes. Mercedes long run versus Ferrari starts.
Yeah.
If these cars are as hard to pass by each other as some of the drivers are saying, and Ferrari gets a good start,
it's gonna be.
What can Mercedes then do? Are they gonna have to try to do longer stints just to try to outrun Ferrari? I'm gonna be
honest with you, head to head, I'm taking Charles and Lewis over George and Kimi any day of the week.
Yeah, and this is gonna be George's first true time being a championship favorite. Yeah, and like I said, every driver has to go through that. You normally don't win it on your first try. Even Max could do that whenever he was in the running for the first time. He had to go through the growing pains before he won at Abu Dhabi 2021. So every driver has to go through that. I feel like that's the reason with Lewis. And I just honestly want to see the petty Lewis. I mean, we're not going to talk about his off-the-track stuff, but looks like Toxic Lewis is trying to make a comeback. So maybe that's the reason why he's got some people in his life right now the way it is.
We'll
but
see.
Toxic Lewis, I want to see come back just because it's something a lot of Formula One fans that picked up the sport during the DTS era don't really get to see. Yeah. And I mean, you can go back and see the videos of him and Nico, but I mean, you don't have to just look at Nico. Go look at him, and honestly, him and Alonso were the more favorite of mine.
That too.
Those two, there's a reason they still hate each other to this day. Yeah. There's a reason they still don't like each other to this day.
So we've given our hot takes, we've given our Constructors Championship predictions, and we've given our Drivers Championship predictions. Let us know what your predictions are. Let us know your hot takes. Drop them in the comments. I want to hear it all. I want to hear it all because we don't know. We could all be wrong just like we were last year. I mean, to be fair, I wasn't far off because I did predict Max winning, and we lost it by 2 points last year.
Yeah.
Did any of us predict Lando winning last year? I have to go back and check and see.
I don't think so.
No, I know some
of
us.
I think we all said Oscar if it came down to McLaren, and well, here we are. Lando's the reigning champ. He's the number one car out there now this year. It's gonna be an interesting season. We will be back next week to our first race week of 2026. We'll be back to predict and preview the Australian Grand Prix, Oscar's home race. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. We're this close to the start of the season. We're this close. We're right there. Hang on. Don't forget, like I said at the beginning of this, don't forget to subscribe to our new channel. Follow us on all our social media. We are on Twitter at Around the CCT, and then we are Around the Circuit on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow us everywhere. My personal handles is Maruchan Warrior, like Maruchan, like the soup warrior. Follow me. Follow Mark. He's MPC H-Town. And Ivan is IL White 1. Follow us. Talk to us. Support Around the Circuit. Support Apollo HOU at Apollo HOU on all social media. We're here. We're ready to race. We will be back next week to preview. And we'll kick off the race week.
Yep.
Any last thoughts, boys?
You're the horse, baby.
If you or anybody you know knows an Alonso fan, please check in on them. Please check in on them.
We'll see y'all next week. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe, follow, and like. We're out of here. Peace.